everybody, this is Lisa, aka Wolfenstein, coming at you with another video. You're probably going to be a little surprised that it's this quick, because I said in my last video when I was reviewing um, the latest Big Finish drop and my Puzzy Bear that I wasn't going to be doing another one until later on this month when my other Big Finish audios came in. But this video is a little different. As you can see, I don't have my usual space background. This is just my standby screen here. But and there's no special intro to this video, which I'm sure you probably noticed by now if you clicked on it, because I don't want any other entities doing a copyright claim and putting any ads on it or making any money off of this, because that's not what this is about. I don't make any money off of any of my YouTube videos anyway, but I don't want anybody else to make any money off of it, because this is this video particular content is kind of sensitive. I'm just going to say that. It has to do with some issues that have crept up in the fandom over the last, I would say, probably 2 weeks. And they are very, as I said, sensitive. So I'm going to put a trigger warning here right now before we go anywhere forward that there will be some stuff talked about having to do with sexual harassment, sexual assault, just in general, really unspeakable behavior. So if that is not the kind of thing that you want to listen to or to discuss, that is up to you. Feel free to hit pause and go look at another video. I would never fault you for it. If that's something that you just can't deal with, by all means, go ahead. But yeah, if you're still sticking around, well, here it is. A couple of weeks ago, an article came out about an actor in the UK who is very well associated with Doctor Who. And it was not a flattering article whatsoever. This article led to other things coming out about a couple of other actors involved in Doctor Who over the years. And it just kind of tumbled from there. Now, when it comes to allegations and such about what we're going to be discussing, I don't take that kind of thing lightly. I really don't. But I'm also of the mind that the victim should be heard, absolutely, without doubt, 100%. They should not be chastised. They should not be told that they're full of crap. They should not be disbelieved. Everything they have to say should be heard and listened to and investigated to the utmost of the ability of the governing authority. And depending on the outcome of the investigation and the proof given as a result of the investigation, if there's enough there to take action, then action better be taken. I'm not one to believe that things should be shelved just because someone has a high profile. That's bullshit. If they did something wrong, they're going to pay for it. This is not cancel culture. Okay, this is, you broke the law, you're going to go to jail. Period. So, but recently, as a result of some of this stuff getting out, it's caused something of a fracture even deeper than what was already going on in the fandom at the outset. Everybody involved in Doctor Who fandom knows that it's been fairly badly fractured since Chris Chibnall took over and Jodie Whittaker took over as the Doctor. And it's only gotten worse from there over the last 3 years since they've been involved in the production. So this is only making a bad situation infinitely worse. And I really do fear that this will be the straw that breaks the camel's back, because, you know, I don't like the idea of Me Too or any sort of supporting of victims becoming taken as like cancel culture and as some sort of political argument to justify why one side of the fandom is horrible and the other side of the fandom isn't, because that's not what this is about. So let me explain if you guys don't know the context. A couple weeks ago, an article in The Guardian, which is a pretty well-known news source in the UK, been around for 200 years. As a matter of fact, they just celebrated the 200th birthday. They came out with an article having to do with Noel Clarke. Noel Clarke, if anybody of you have been involved in Doctor Fandom whatsoever, is very well known to the fandom as Mickey Smith. He played Mickey Smith during the first 4 years of the relaunch of Doctor Who from 2005. Well, actually 5 years, from 2005 to 2010. He wasn't in every episode, but he was in quite a few. And he's become very well known to the Doctor Who franchise. The character is well known. He may not be as beloved as the Doctor himself, or as the companions, or as most of the full-time companions, but as just a character in his own right, he's become a very beloved, Mickey Smith has become a very beloved character. That being said, the article references a number of allegations against him by actresses, production assistants, crew members that have been on various movie sets that he has been involved in, whether it be a producing capacity, directing capacity, writing capacity, or acting, or all of the above. Noel Clarke is a very multifaceted actor, and usually when he makes projects, because he has his own production company, when he makes projects, he tends to be the one that writes them, produces them, directs them, he does everything, and he acts in them. And we're talking about, these allegations go back to before he was even on Doctor Who in the first place. So, okay. So, and these are wide ranging, from actresses that were on set to play a role, production assistants, secretaries, runners, just about anybody that you can think of on your typical film set. They range from bullying to inappropriate touching, to inappropriate filming, to physical assault, emotional assault, I guess what we could be construed as illegal filming, because for those of you not in the know when it comes to filming anything, the actors union and also the directors union and just about everybody involved on a film set, they have to go by strict guidelines when it comes to filming certain scenes. I'm not talking about, this is not porn. I'm not talking about that. That's a totally different animal. But any time in any film that there is some sort of sexual scene, any scene of a sexual nature, like if somebody's going to be taking some clothes off, or they're going to film some sort of sexual scene, there is very specific rules and guidelines that must be followed. There is even actually a person or persons on set that are there specifically to see to it that these rules are followed. And they also help to make the actors comfortable, so that if they have any concerns about what's going on in the filming of the scene, they can go and launch the complaints or concerns to this person, and that person can take it to the director or, whatever. And they make sure that those rules are followed. Because anything that is that makes the actors uncomfortable or that they know is a direct violation of the rules is a big no-no. And one of those violations is that you cannot film certain angles in a nude scene. Nude scenes are allowed, but only certain angles can be filmed. Because then you run into, is this going to make the rating go up to an X and blah, blah, blah. There are certain angles of the body that cannot be filmed because that, again, would make the ratings go up. It would make the film rating go up, and it could be construed as porn. Normal sexual scenes in movies, just regular movies, not porn movies, just regular movies, they typically film from the side, and if it's from front, it's only like chest up. You don't typically see from bottom down unless it's meant. Most films can maybe get away from one full frontal if they're lucky, and it has to be like flashbang quick. There's very specific rules about how you film. Some of the actresses on set that were involved in these scenes say that he was purposely filming them from certain angles that were not allowed by filming standards. He was breaking rules. He claimed that he wasn't, and that he wasn't filming from such and such a angle, but they were certain that he was. There have been allegations that he filmed someone on a dance floor, filmed them up their skirts, and then was passing the pictures around to other people on set and laughing about it, and basically just general bullying, harassing, sexual, almost sort of exploitation. There, in this article, and I have read it before you ask, I'll include the link in the description if you want to get the details. But there are a total of 20. Actually, I think an extra one was just added to make it 21, but over 20 allegations from different people that have been involved with him in certain capacities over the years. Not personally involved with him like dating. No, this is professional. They worked with him. They worked for him. Now, a lot of people on both sides have questioned the timing of this release because it was said that a lot of the women had kept quiet for many years about it, and then once they found out that he was due to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award or a Special Achievement Award at the BAFTAs, which was not too long ago, that they finally came clean and said something because they did not want him to be rewarded after everything he put so many people through. I understand that some people on the other side of this will question the timing of this. But you have to understand something about the filming industry as a whole. And anybody who has been around the last couple of years and at the height of the Me Too movement knows this isn't bullshit. The industry is not an easy one to be in, especially for women. Whole careers have been destroyed because people have been blacklisted in the industry for coming forward. I could give you names. And that's just from the Harvey Weinstein crap. So, yeah, there's real fear there because we're talking about these are actresses and production assistants and such that know that if they come forward and accuse a very powerful person, and these producers and directors and writers are extremely powerful, they basically hold that person's job and future in their hands. A lot of the women in the Guardian article said they were too afraid to come forward at the outset because he was the producer, he was the writer, he was the director, he was the boss. He was in charge of the whole shebang. And they knew that if they came forward and complained, that they could be at risk of not only losing the job they were on, but losing any job in any chance of having further success in their career in the industry at all. Some of the complainants even left the industry altogether. One for the rest of her life and has decided to never come back, and one for many years and only recently decided to come back once she felt more comfortable. But yeah, it's not an easy thing to go through. And I'm not just talking about for women who have just come in, just decided to become actors and are working their first job, or just have just gotten their foot in the door. It's not only true with them. Think about the Me Too movement in the U.S. We're talking about actresses that have been in the business for most of their lives, that are very famous, that make millions of dollars a year making movies. We're not talking about first-time out people. We're talking about actresses that have been in the business a long time, well-known names, famous people, A-list people, who have had to live with this for years. Now, most of the complainants on Noel Clarke's side were production assistants, runners, and actresses who were, for the most part, was their first time doing a film. So I guess they were intimidated because at the time he was such a big deal actor, he was writer, producer, he was the big boss, and they were so afraid that their careers would be destroyed if they came forward, because there were some instances in the allegations where he literally threatened to derail their careers. One of the complainants said that he was her patron, that he had helped put her through drama school, through acting school in London. And imagine how hard that is to have this person who has given their own money and put you through school and introduced you to the acting world and given you your first job, and now this happens. You don't even know how to approach that, because you don't, some part of your brain thinks, if I do this, I'm going to be betraying this person who's done all of this for me, who gave me all these opportunities. But at the same time, it's like, but he's done something horrible wrong, and I have to say something, but I don't know if I can. You cannot imagine how difficult it is for these women to have to come forward knowing, and this is at great personal cost to them. I mean, they don't have anything to gain by this. All they're going to get is scrutiny and harassment for I don't even know how long. Because when allegations like this come out, do they really look at the guy? Most of the time, no. Most of the time, they look at the victim and they scrutinize the victim and try to pick apart everything that the victim says to make the victim out to be a liar. They have completely opened up their lives for the most intense amount of scrutiny I can't even tell you. Why would anybody put themselves through that for a lie? I mean, what do they really hope to gain? There's not much for them to gain, because it's not like they can just come forward and they'll automatically be believed and then Noel Clarke's go in prison. No, it's going to take a lot of investigating. Proof has already been given to the authorities in the UK. So now it is incumbent upon the authorities to investigate it as best as they can. So hopefully, hopefully that will be done properly and these women will get some kind of justice. Now, the other side of this mess is, ever since this has come out, a lot of people have decided they will no longer watch the first 4 seasons of Doctor Who. Pretty much anything in the Russell T Davies era. Yeah, I don't like that, because I can't envision myself, and I'm just speaking for me now. I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'm just speaking for me. I cannot imagine not watching the Russell T Davies era because one actor fucked up. One actor who's only in a couple of episodes. Honestly. But that's me. Like I said, I'm the type of person that I, as the saying goes, I am able to separate the art from the artist. That's just me. Now, if I'm not really a big fan of Noel Clarke anyway. The only thing I've really seen Noel Clarke in, other than Doctor Who, is one movie, and I only watched that movie for another actor, and it was a terrible film. The only good part about the film was the actor that I was watching it for. The rest of the film was crap. So I'm not really worried about losing money to Noel Clarke films. Here's the thing. I don't think it's hard to separate art from artists for films that have already been out. If these films have been out for many years and you like the films, like, for example, Kevin Spacey. We all know what Kevin Spacey's done. We all know that he's pretty much been blacklisted from the industry from now to eternity. Does that mean that you can't watch old Kevin Spacey movies like The Usual Suspects and other films that he's been in? I don't see why not. There's no money going to those movies. The movies have been out for many years. Most of them you could find on your computer for free. So it's not like money is going to the studio to perpetuate this film. Usual Suspects is one of my favorite films. Am I going to stop watching that movie because he's in it? Probably not. Because Kaiser Sose, the character he plays, is not Kevin Spacey. It's Kaiser Sose. So, but again, as I said before, I am the type of person that can make that distinction. Now, when you have someone like Woody Allen, who's a bit of a different monster, I don't really watch many Woody Allen films, but I'm just using him as an example because he still makes movies. If an actor got into trouble like that and made a new movie, would I pay money to go see it? No, of course not, because I'm not going to help perpetuate a Predator's films. I'm not going to give money to the studio or him. I'm not going to allow that man to make a profit, whether it be from a film or DVD sales or Blu-ray sales or whatever, when I know that this person is nasty. Does it mean that I won't watch that person's older films that he's been in? Not necessarily. Because again, I myself know that I can separate art from artist. Dustin Hoffman is a favorite actor of mine. I know he's been accused of doing a couple of things. Does that mean that I'm not going to watch any Dustin Hoffman movies? No, because a lot of Dustin Hoffman films are great. Rain Man is an awesome flick. I'm not just going to cancel Rain Man because Dustin Hoffman fucked up. You know, but that's me. Like I said, I can separate art from artists. I know that when I'm watching the Dustin Hoffman film, that I'm watching Raymond in Rain Man, not Dustin Hoffman. If Dustin Hoffman was to make a new movie, would I pay money to go see it? Probably not. Because again, I am not going to support somebody who has been in trouble like that and done horrible things. There's a difference between supporting someone who's still currently making movies and watching an old movie that it would make no difference if you watched it or not because they're not getting money off of it. The movie is old enough that you don't necessarily need to go to the store and buy it on DVD or pay it costs to stream it. There are dozens of sites where you can download or stream movies for free. Older movies, like 90s movies and 2000s movies and 80s movies without cost. So there's no funding, there is no dollars going to the actor or the directors or the writer to support their career in that. You're just watching old movies. But that's me. I am able to make that distinction. I know some other people aren't, and they would not watch any movies of a person who was, who had done horrible things. So whether they were old or new, and that is a decision that they can make on their own. And if that's their decision and that's how they want to be, you do you. I'm not going to stop you. It's your life and it's your choice. But me, like I said, I'm able to, balance that. But that's just me. Now, apart from that, after this article came out, there were some more allegations going on for other actors involved in Doctor Who. As a result of the Guardian article coming out, a lot of Noel Clarke's videos, whether they were convention videos or any kind of videos that Noel Clarke was in, got a lot more scrutiny. And as a result, one video in particular popped up. It was a fan convention he did a couple years back. Forget what state he was in. I know he was in America, but I forget which state. And there was 3 of them there. There was the moderator, and there was the actress who played Blofeld Foch in the end of the world in World War III. Aliens in London, World War III, and Boomtown. We all know who Blofeld Foch is. She was there, then Noel Clarke was in the middle, and on the other side of him was Camille Coduri, who of course plays Jack Tyler. That was just awesome. It's awesome. That's Camille Coduri, but anyway. So they were talking about antics and jokes that people got up to on set while they used to film. And in this conversation, they were talking about John Barrowman. John Barrowman is long known to be a huge jokester on set. That's just how his personality is. And even if you have never seen him on set, anybody who's ever watched clips of him at a convention, whether it be Comic-Con or FanCon or whatever the hell it is, any convention, any interview he's ever done, anything that he's ever done backstage that has a video with it, it's not hard to see. He has a very boisterous personality. He's very outgoing. He's never quiet. That's just how John Barrowman is. That's just who he is as a person. We were talking about someone who came out wearing a blue glittered, TARDIS dress and high heels. Okay, that's just John. He likes to play around, have fun, joke around. David Tennant himself has said that when John was on set, they used to joke around constantly. I mean, they would have like fart contests and shit. So it's nothing new. It's well known about John. It's also well known, and Barrowman himself has not denied it. He has admitted to this multiple times that he likes to take his member, his little John, out of his pants and play the piano keys with it and other sort of things. In this recounting of events by these 3 actors, Noel was specifically demonstrating how John would do this with different actors on set using the microphone. And he'd be like, boop, 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 like, trying to show how John would mess around with people with his member. The ladies were laughing, but it looked like slightly uncomfortable laughing. Okay. I will freely admit I'm not from the UK. I am from the US. I know what production standards are on US sets. And I know that if somebody dropped trowel on the set of any show or film, pulled their member out, and started playing the piano keys with it or putting it on somebody's arm or leg or whatever, that person would be offset. Too sweet. That person would be fired or fined or sanctioned or maybe even arrested for exposure. There's absolutely no way that someone could get away with that in the US. Visibly on set. I mean, I can't account for what goes on behind closed doors. Lord knows the Me Too movement has exposed enough of that garbage. But actually, like, on set, in between takes, dropping trowel, pulling out your member and doing that kind of thing, yeah, I can't imagine it. Like, any director or any actor would be like, what the actual fuck, you know? I have to believe that in the UK, okay, I know in the UK censorship is not what it is here. It's much less, at least when it comes to the kinds of scenes they can film. But I can't imagine that they would let him get away with that on the Doctor Who time. It just doesn't make sense. Like, that's why when they were discussing this at first, I thought that they meant he was using a fake plastic one that you get in like a sex shop or whatever, and he was just messing around, because that would have been considered harmless. And I know that, okay, everyone's like, well, he got away with it because he's gay. Gay is harmless because he doesn't mean anything by it, and he's not sexually attracted to women, so he's not really trying to hurt them. It doesn't matter if he's gay. What matters is how he's making these people feel. If he's doing this, and some people are like, haha, that's funny, whatever, oh, John, but others are like, would you please don't do that? Okay. As soon as someone says, I'm not comfortable with this, you need to stop. Like, seriously, you need to stop. At first, I thought they were talking about a fake plastic one. And some part of me still believes that they are, because I just can't envision it in my brain that he could do that and no one would say anything. Like that, literally, you could get arrested for, exposing yourself. But I suppose since it's a closed set, when they do their work, and because it's John, they just laugh it off. But they really shouldn't have. If that's what really happened, and he actually did that, yeah, he definitely needs to be held to account. Do I think he meant anything horrible by it? No, because that's just not John. He's just not. It's incredibly stupid that he would do that, and incredibly irresponsible that he would do that. But do I believe he was literally trying to sexually assault people? No. That's just not John's way. It's not who he is. Does he need to apologize and take account for his actions? Absolutely. Absolutely, because I've heard that he has come forward and sort of apologized for some of the things that he's done on set, and then he's said that he would try not to do that anymore. But they really do need to take a closer accounting of him and tell him, look, that's not appropriate to do on set. We're here to work. If you want to tell a joke or whatever, that's one thing, but dropping your pants, no. Like, seriously. But going that far, I can't even conceive of that mess. So, I think maybe John needs to take a step back and maybe take some time off from acting for a couple of months and just take stock and fix his shit. Try to make amends to anybody that he might have made feel uncomfortable, and figure out some way to get hold of himself. Not in that way. And just take stock and fix his shit. As it is right now, Doctor Who is teetering on a razor's edge. How it's been able to maintain this long, I don't know. I know that if it continues in the vein that it's in, with what Chibnall and with what Jodie are doing, it is in serious danger of crashing and burning. As the months have gone by, we have heard more reports that more and more episodes are getting ticked off because either they don't have the time or they don't have the resources. We're getting to a point where we barely have what could be considered a season. We're almost down to Sherlock levels of numbers of episodes here. Not that this era really Not that I really care about this era, but I mean, I care about the show as a whole. And I've also heard in recent articles that after this season is over and the Christmas special, that there will be no Doctor Who for the foreseeable future. They haven't said they're canceling the show; it's just on hiatus. Because right now they're having a lot of problems with funding. Because there's a lot of locations in Wales that they generally film in that they can't use anymore. So it's become very difficult for them to keep going. And now this, I feel like I know John Barrowman is supposed to have a presence in season 13 in some capacity as Jack. I don't mind seeing Jack. I love Jack. But because of the issues he's got going on right now, I feel like if they keep him in it, it's going to give off the wrong message to the audience that he can get away with this and still be successful and do whatever he wants to do. Should he be out of Doctor Who entirely? No. I'm saying, look, he just needs to pull back. Maybe take like 6 months. Take some time off from acting and just focus inward and fix himself. And then when, he's got his situation in order, come back. Because right now, the last thing that Doctor Who needs is an actor or character or anything else making it worse than it already is, as if it can't be any more worse. Because there are certain sections of the fandom that are just looking for an excuse to throw a shitstorm. They have run with these articles about Noel and John, and they've segued that to Matt Smith. The whole thing with Matt Smith is fucking ridiculous. They're saying that Matt Smith's version of the Doctor needs to be canceled. That is, his behavior is problematic because of how he deals with his female companions and the females in general. He kissed a lizard lady. No, he didn't kiss her. He kissed Jenny, her wife. Even though he knew she was lesbian and married at the time, he kissed her against her will. And he slapped Clara's ass. And was looking at her butt and saying that she had, she was an enigma wrapped in a too tight skirt, blah, 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 blah. Okay. You don't know what to say about that. This has gotten to the point. I mean, the genuine accusations against John Barrowman and Noel Clarke, those have merit. And those definitely need to be addressed. But with Matt Smith has never done anything bad on set. Matt Smith has never had accusations against him. Matt Smith has never had any issues on set. Matt Smith has been a general darling on set and has never made any problems. That being said, the 11th Doctor, as Matt has portrayed him, Matt can only do with what he's given. Am I going to say that the portrayal of the female companions and female characters in Moffat era was top-notch? No. And that's generally chalked up to Stephen Moffat. It is well known that Stephen Moffat does not write female characters very well. At all. A lot of interviews that Moffat has done about Amy and Clara and River Song have all had little bits and pieces in there that are very sexist. And the way that he writes the characters shows that. Also the way how the 11th Doctor reacts to women in general. And how he treats them in general is a product of Moffat's writing. Period. Does that mean that Matt Smith is problematic? No. Does that mean that the 11th Doctor is problematic? No. It means that Stephen Moffat is problematic in the way that he writes female companions and female characters. But that is well known. That's nothing new. And I wish that could have been changed. That's part of the reason why I never really warmed to Amy or Clara or basically any female characters in the Moffat era at all. I just felt no connection to them at all, except except for one. Clara Oswald in the Victorian Christmas special with the snowman. That was the only version of her that I ever liked. And I wish that he would have taken her as his companion instead of the one we got. But that being said, it is unfair to blame Matt Smith for something he doesn't really have control over. Could he have said something as an actor to the writers or to the director going, look, I'm not really comfortable with the doctor saying or doing that. I don't think he would do that. That's not how he is. Yeah, he could have. As an actor, as the main actor on the show, it's incumbent upon him to, stand up for his character, stand up for himself. And if he feels like something isn't right, he needs to say something. But that is another running issue on the set of the show. I don't know if it's the BBC that has lockstep control of them, or if they're intimidated by the producers. I don't know. But I feel like for many years this show has a problem where the actors feel like they can't say what they need to say. They can't voice their own opinions. I know some actors are better at it than most. David Tennant is very good at saying what he needs to say and lobbying for what he feels is right. And Peter Capaldi, you don't fucking mess with Peter Capaldi. If he feels like some shit's wrong, he's gonna fucking say it. That's just Peter. He'll go Malcolm Tucker on your ass. So yeah. But for the most part, it has always seemed like on this show, like if people had issues that they needed to address, that there was no place or way for them to do that. And it all started with Christopher Eccleston. See, now, with all these movements going on, people are now seeing like, oh my God, now I get it. Everybody back in the day when it was first announced that Christopher Eccleston was leaving, they were all, why the hell would you do that? You played an amazing Doctor, and now you're going to give up this huge successful show. You're being an asshole, and blah, 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 blah. And they had no idea. The only information that they knew about why he was leaving was that article that the BBC put out without him even knowing about it. And they got into some serious shit trouble for doing that because they defamed his character. The reasons that they gave for him not wanting to stay were not the right reasons. But now, after, 15 years, and with all these movements going on and how society is changing, now people are kind of looking and going, damn, man, I'm sorry. Like, dude, now I get it, man. I get you. Like, people now understand that he was going through some serious shit when he decided to leave. He wasn't trying to be a selfish prick. He had issues going on outside of the show that he really needed to deal with. And some of the environment on the show, he wasn't chill with. Like, there were some ways that they did things on the show that he didn't like. I mean, but he didn't dislike the character. He didn't dislike the show. There was just some things behind the scenes that he could not deal with. And also the huge amount of fame. Some people can deal with that, like David Tennant and Peter Capaldi and all them, but Chris was not in the mental space to deal with that insanity. He was already going through a lot of mental, emotional, physical problems. And it was just so much all at once for him to have to deal with that he felt it was right for him to walk away while he still could. He did what he set out to do. He brought the show back and it was successful. But at the time, mentally, he just could not handle being in that space anymore, and he needed to take some time to deal with things on his own, to get help and to do what he needed to do for it to better himself. Back then, this was like an enactment thing, like, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. But now, everybody is all about mental health and making sure that you're okay and that you seek the help when you need it and blah, blah, blah. So really, a lot of people owe Christopher Eccleston a huge apology. A lot of people. Oh. That being said, so look, I'm not making any judgments in this video. I would hope you guys wouldn't make any judgments. All I'm saying is that if these allegations prove to be true, let them be investigated, let the victims be heard, and if they prove to be true, then yeah, Noel Clarke's going to have to pay for it. No doubt. No doubt. If John Barrowman's fucked up, he's going to have to pay for it. No doubt. You can't let people get away with things that they shouldn't be getting away with. That's just period. Although John Barrowman's is not as bad as what Noel Clarke is. Yeah, Noel Clarke, if he did the things that they say that he's done, yeah, he needs to go away for a long time. John just kind of needs to take a look at himself a little bit, and I don't want to say he does this because he's gay and his personality is just flamboyant as fuck. Maybe that's true. I don't know. But I think he needs to figure out some way, especially at his age now, he's in his 50s, tone it the fuck down. You might have been able to get away with that in the early aughts, but this isn't the early aughts anymore. Shouldn't have been able to get away with it back then either. But this is a different time, different place, and society's very different than what it was then. He needs to come to terms with that and figure out how to move forward. Because people love Jack Harkness, and I know they would hate to lose seeing him in the Doctor Who sphere because of this. So hopefully he can get himself set straight. I hope that the victims find justice. Seriously. But I also hope, and I wish, that whatever members of the fandom, whichever side, are using this as an excuse to shit on the male doctors. Because, well, look, all those other actors are assholes. That means that all male doctors are assholes. No. No. One thing does not equate to the other. You please do not co-opt that their victimhood and what they have had to do to come forward to have their voices heard with your bullshit that you have against male doctors because Jodie is everything. No. No. Am I going to say that the show doesn't have issues and that they need to really get better writers and actors across the board? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they definitely do. Did Moffat have a lot of problems? Oh, fuck, yeah, he did. The man has got serious issues when it comes to women. But Moffat's not there now anymore. Moffat's gone. If you don't like the way that Matt Smith portrayed the Doctor, that is on you, and that is your choice to not watch it. Just like it's your choice if you don't want to watch any more Russell T Davies era because of Noel Clarke. But you can't put that on everybody else. Everybody else is going to make their own choice. And you can't co-opt other people's victimhood to suit your woke political agendas. Because what you want has nothing to do with what they've been through. And for that part of the fandom to do that, to shit on Matt Smith or anybody that they see as being problematic when they're in character, it devalues what these actual victims have gone through. Everything that they've had to put up with in all of their struggles. So, yeah, just food for thought there. Alright, guys, well, that's about it for me. So, I will see you guys in a couple more weeks when my big finishes come out for more reviews. Love you guys. Peace out.